World Series contender that can't seem to beat the Oakland A's. They've lost 4 of the last 5 games versus the Oakland A's. Are they even going to be playing in Oakland next year? I mean, I'm asking for a friend. I'm asking for myself. And that was a good game, except for the grand slam. When you walk 2 batters, then you allow a hit, and then a grand slam. That just kind of just puts a whole damper on the game. And I have this little conspiracy theory about Wilson Contreras. And if you had told me before today that Wilson Contreras could be coming to the Astros, I've been like, you're crazy. But I'm going to talk to you about this next on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at EricTalkStros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and Instagram, and Astros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, even if we lose to the A's, always Stros.
And guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen. Whether it's on YouTube, I know Brett did a short episode today with Josh Neighbors over with the Locked On Nationals podcast and talking about Josh Bell, about is he going to be traded before the August 2nd deadline. But go check us out on YouTube. It takes a second. Just go hit subscribe. Go and give us a thumbs up, and go ahead and listen to us on your way to work, on your way home from work, on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Check out the Locked On Astros podcast. So the game today was not that good. There were some great moments. You had Kyle Tucker with a massive blast, and it was kind of up there where Alvarez hit the home run that one time,
Right?
and then you had the Astros kind of chip away in the in the 5th inning. They got 2 more runs. Alvarez got a double to drive in Jeremy Pena, and then they scored another run in that inning, but they only scored 3 runs in the game. Frankie Montas, who might have pitched his last game with the Oakland A's. He pitched a pretty good game, even though he did allow 3 walks. And I'm sure teams are going to look at this game and be like, okay, it's against the Astros. The Astros are one of the better teams in baseball. But Luis Garcia walked a career high 4 batters. And it sucks when you do it all in the same inning, when you do 2 batters and then you allow a hit, and then you throw a cookie to Chad Pinder, I think he had another grand slam against the Astros. And it's just like, why does Pinder always do this against the freaking Astros?
Yeah, it was literally one pitch. One pitch was the difference in this game. If they don't hit that grand slam, do they score any runs? Bottom line, I don't see that happening. I mean, we could have easily won this game 3-0. Frankie Montas historically against the Astros has not gotten a lot of runs. And so when he has limited the Astros to 1 or 2 runs, the Oakland A's don't typically back him up. But it's funny, you don't hear Oakland A's fans talking about this being the World Series. Obviously, they haven't gone on a 14-game win streak. Obviously, they're not even within striking distance of anything other than basically the bottom of the league. But the Oakland Athletics, at the end of the day, are always going to play you tough. You have to respect the team. They're major leaguers. Tony Kemp, former Astros, tend to do very good with the club. It's probably because they know the culture. They know the attack. They know what's coming. And so they're going to hit well. And I don't mind Tony Kemp having a good game. Jeremy Pena, started this game off, and he started the game off the other day. MLB.com led me to the wrong game. I wanted Jeremy Pena to get another home run in the first inning. He would have been 3 games in a row. He's been hitting a little bit better. His fielding's cleaned up a little bit. But at the end of the day, this is just one of those games. This is baseball. It's a long season. This isn't anybody's fault other than, the offense didn't produce enough to back up Luis Garcia. They had their opportunities. Yordan Alvarez absolutely smoked a ball to right center field. I thought the ball was gonna like break the bottom of the fence. It was hit so hard. He, like you mentioned, he got the RBI double. Jordan continues to hit opposite field, singles, to hit gappers for doubles and score runs. I think his hand's feeling fine, Eric, and that's a really good thing.
Yeah, going back to Jeremy Pena, he's actually had 6 home runs in the last 18 games, and he
There
has
you go.
15 home runs on the season. That's the second most by any rookies, trailing Julio Rodriguez's 16. So he is having a great rookie season for its shortstop, somebody who came in under all the pressure of having to fill in Carlos Correa's shoes, and he's doing a great job. So he's playing great defense. He's batting second most times. So this is going to be a guy who's hopefully with the Houston Astros for a long time. And I saw this article about, well, what if the Astros trade for somebody like Luis Castillo, or no, actually, this was a Shohei Ohtani article, and it was like, if they trade for Shohei Ohtani, these are the 15 teams that are most likely to do it. The Astros were 15th, and I don't think it's the Angels are going to even do it. But I wanted the only name that they mentioned in that article would be Jeremy Pena, and I'm like, yeah, that would be a big thing. So I don't think the Astros are going to be going after Shohei Ohtani, because you're going to have to empty your farm to get him. But Jeremy Pena is doing great. There are some weaknesses on this team. Catching is one. Center field can be one. And Jake Myers has a little bit of a strikeout issue. He plays great defense, but since he's come back, and I didn't update this since the later bats, but he has 31 strikeouts in his first 87 at bats since coming back from the IL.
Are
That's
you
no
talking about
bueno.
Jake Myers?
Jake Myers, that's what I said, right?
Yeah, he's also coming off of shoulder surgery. You're not going to
I
see
know.
full strength Jake Myers until next year. He's his velocity's down the outfield. He's throwing miles an hour slower. He's not as sharp as he was. He had a torn labrum. That is a massive surgery to overcome. I've had a labrum that was strained, not torn, and I know how that feels. Especially when it's in your right shoulder. When I was playing volleyball, literally 3 to 4 hours a day, 4 or 5 days a week, and did that for about 9 or 10 years. And I worked as an electrician. I was drilling into metal beams, hanging lights in shops for my dad's electric company. And I can tell you, when you have a strained labrum, not even a torn one, that like the overuse of the shoulder is brutal. And when you injure it the way he did with a high impact injury, it takes a while. So there's a lot of people that are selling Jake Myers. They're just out on it. They're just giving up on him. You got to give this kid time. Maybe he came back a little too soon. Maybe he wasn't fully ready, but they needed somebody there. The other argument of that could be, well, give Chas McCormick more playing time. Chas McCormick, I love his bat. I love how his bat plays. I think he's a good fielder. And so this is what I wonder. Are they going to still look at someone in center field at the trade deadline because of Jake Myers, the way he's performing? Is Chas McCormick a trade piece? Jose Siri is definitely not going to be your center fielder. That guy's becoming a quadruple A player and maybe provides value for another club because he keeps hitting home runs in AAA. He just can't translate that to the big league game.
What's going on with Michael Brantley? There's so many questions the
Yes.
Astros have to answer before the August 2nd trade deadline. And it's, I know James Click has some answers to what he's looking for. This is some stuff that was in the Houston Chronicle. We'll discuss this in a second. But if you can't get the right acquisition at the trade deadline, why don't you go to BlueNile.com to find the right choice for your wife or your girlfriend?
Yeah, exactly. And so BlueNile.com is the online jeweler. They were originally designed for high income adults. But here's the thing: I don't know about you. I'm not a high income adult. I have a job, but the great thing about BlueNile.com is they have jewelry at every price point. You basically give them your budget. You tell them where you're at financially, and they let you know what you can choose. You can choose fine jewelry. You can choose bracelets. You can choose, anything, cocktail earrings, wedding jewelry, whatever it is you're looking for, they will have for you. They create one-of-a-kind wedding pieces, and that's really what they're known for. They have thousands of customers, and since 1999, actually, I'm sorry, millions of customers that they've helped since 1999, helped them create the most amazing diamond engagement rings with the highest ethical standards. Their 24/7 bench jewelers are there to help you find what you need. They also have 30-day returns. If for some reason the piece doesn't fit your specifications, they will guarantee your repair for life if that is ever a need. So whether you're shopping fine jewelry or engagement ring, I need you to go to BlueNile.com, because right now they're having Blue Nile anniversary sale. Save up to 40% on classic fine jewelry pieces and 25% on engagement ring settings. Plus, every order is insured, ships free, and arrives in discreet packaging so that it won't give away what's inside. Shop stress-free and find your forever piece at GoToBlueNile.com today.
All right. I know I'm in Omaha, Nebraska on a golf trip, and I'll be heading back soon on Thursday, but I could use some wings from Hooters. Tell us about Hooters or NASA.
Yeah, so on the 29th is National Wing Day. If you go to Hooters NASA and you tell them that the Locked On guys sent you, you'll get free fried pickles. You also, when you buy 10 wings, you'll get 10 boneless wings for free. And then the next night, they have UFC night. What's great about Hooters is not just the world famous Hooters girls, but they have all kinds of beers on tap. They have all kinds of flavors. They have all kinds of styles of wings. It's not just one style. Hooters of NASA in Webster off of I-45, exit 528 is a great place. The manager, Rosie, she wears black socks for a reason. Ever since October 26, 2005, I have a feeling that you and I can figure out why she does that. She's a massive Astros fan. They've actually taken groups of people to Astros game. They're actually taking a trip to the Mets on, sometime soon. They're going again, probably around August, and they have all kinds of options. Again, it's a great place to watch the game. They pump the sound right through the speakers. And let me tell you something. On August 6th, we are going to have a live broadcast for Locked On Astros at Hooters Webster. We want you all to come out. We would love to meet y'all. We're going to have giveaways. It's going to be a blast. So when you go there, tell them that the boys from Locked On Astros sent you, and you'll get a free basket of fried pickles. And make sure you check out their Happy Hour specials. That's basically happy hour at other places from 3 to 6 every day, and the great food, great service, great place to hang out. Hooters of NASA. Go check them out today.
Alrighty, so yes, it is definitely a cool place to hang out with, and the August 2nd trade deadline is coming up, and I'm so used to the July 31st trade deadline but I forgot that it was pushed back. So we got a few more days of what will James Click do. So this is what James Click had to say. I don't think we have a clear direction one way or the other on that, other than we're exploring all areas. It's difficult to say that we will prioritize one over the other. Sometimes the market dictates what you prioritize, but the main thing that we are prioritizing right now is aggression and trying to get out there and get something done. We remember his first season as GM, he stood pat. Last year, it was very obvious what the needs were.
Right.
This year, there's not really kind of a big idea of what the biggest need is for him to go after.
Are you sure?
I mean, there
it's
is
catcher in first base.
Right. But he's saying that there's like so many different needs, but hold on, I'm trying to pull this up. But he says
It says
most teams are moving from information gathering stage into the exchanging of name stage of things. He said this on Tuesday. I do think that the extra playoff spots are complicating things, and it creates a situation where the teams who are incentivized to wait a little bit longer than in the past seasons to determine directions. Anytime that you have teams that are assessing their directions, it's going to slow things down. In other words, you have all those teams that think, "Hey, I'm still in." They're not going to trade away their trade pieces.
Well, yeah, exactly. You take teams like the Orioles, where Mancini's been talked about a lot. We're going to get to Contreras here in a second. James Click also did say, he said, I don't think that we have a clear direction on one way or another.
I already said that.
Basically, other than exploring all these areas. I'm
Okay.
just saying this for emphasis. There are multiple areas where they could go: left-handed relief pitcher, catcher, first base, center field, and those are areas of concern for this team. And I'm on the Josh Bell train. I want Josh Bell here. I want Josh Bell signed. I want Josh Bell signed to a 3-year extension. I think he's a solid piece at 30 years old. You look at his career outside of 2020, his numbers are phenomenal. His defense is good enough. He's not necessarily Yuli Gurriel, but his defense is really good. Someone tried to cite one game yesterday that he made like an error, and they said he's not very good. And so I don't understand people taking a 1-game sample size to evaluate a player. But at the end of the day, Eric, Yuli is really kind of at the end of his road. Yuli's going to stay on. He's not going
Yeah.
anywhere. People need to freak out thinking, you're not going to trade Yuli. No, they're not trading him. They're going to platoon him. Josh Bell will come in. He may play most of the playing time at first base if they bring him in. But they can still bring him in, and they can still bring him and Contreras in. Contreras' actual price value actually dropped on MLB trade values because of the length of time you actually have it, because he is a rental. Okay.
Right.
My only reservation with bringing him in, and you can give us your conspiracy theory here in a second. My only problem with bringing him in is at what cost are you willing to pay for the rental? And does the rental, is that the difference in you winning a title or not?
Right. So Click went on to say there's always areas to improve, like you kind of hinted at. If you're sitting there and saying we are comfortable with your lineup, then I don't think you're doing your job. Our job is constantly look at ways to improve your team and get them to where you need them to be in order to succeed. It's not a situation where you're ever sitting back and saying you're comfortable with things. And he also kind of talked about the trade last year. He said the decision to trade Miles Straw was one that no one took lightly. We all knew what type of teammate he was and how close he was to the guys. And ultimately, we made the decision to do what we thought would be put us in the best position to win a World Series. Now he's kind of in the same pickle this year with Gurriel and Maldonado. Now, they're not trying to trade them, but
No.
we're talking about possibly either platooning them or finding a replacement for them. So he said we're going to take the same approach this year, but maintaining clubhouse harmony and maintaining a good chemistry down there is something that we have to take into account when making these decisions. But ultimately, we have to balance that against performance on the field and the X's and O's of these decisions. And that brings me up to my conspiracy theory. So I saw a little tweet from Jeff Pazan. I think it was part of a ESPN article he wrote, and he said that multiple teams are concerned that Wilson Contreras would not be able to gel with their pitchers toward soon, or at the end of the season, or gel with the pitchers in general. And they're wondering if Contreras could make a position change. And knowing how the Astros pitchers love Martin Maldonado, that makes it sound like the Astro, and a lot of people are saying that the Astros are engaged in conversations with the Cubs. That makes me think that they're maybe asking Contreras, hey, we're interested in trading for you, but would you be interested in being our backup catcher? Maybe play catcher twice a week. We'll designate either you get Jake Odorizzi and maybe, I don't know, Jose Urquidy, and the rest of the time, Martin Maldonado would get it. And then for the rest of the time, how would you feel playing first base? How would you feel in DH?
Or
How would you feel playing left field? Something like that. So I know he's played left field before.
Baseball Reference has him listed as a left fielder, and that's something I didn't realize until I looked it up. So he does provide that security for you, especially if Brantley is out. And I honestly did not think, and I've been saying, and you can go back and look at the video evidence. I've really thought that up until this point that Contreras was not a realistic target. I really thought that Contreras, there's no way. But the more I talk to people who are covering this, draft experts, consulting various websites, it looks like Contreras could very well be a possibility if they're hunting a big bat. Um, but to get someone like a Contreras, you're gonna pay a high price. You need
Yeah.
very solid prospects. More than likely, Hunter Brown is going to be dealt. If you get a Castillo or a Contreras, more than likely Hunter Brown is gone. And I hate saying that sentence because I think Hunter Brown has as much promise in our system as everybody thought Forrest Whitley was going to have whenever he came to us. Hunter Brown is becoming that pitcher. Hunter Brown is clearly frustrated right now in Sugarland, and they're holding him down there. They're either holding him down there because they're going to bring him up after the trade deadline and they don't trade him, or they're holding him down there because they want to trade him and they want to showcase everything he's done to dominate AAA. Wilson Contreras here, he also has Venezuelan ties, which is huge with Jose Altuve, as he's also from Venezuela. That is a big thing. Contreras, I think, though, think about this. Maldonado and Contreras. Maldonado, the professor behind the plate. Contreras, the new catcher. If Maldonado can coach up Corey Lee, don't you think he can coach up Wilson Contreras? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
He's
so
not known as a defensive catcher at all, and the
he's
Cubs
not.
have actually been starting him more at DH recently.
But right. But my point is, at catcher for the Astros, to me, that's not as big of a concern because of who we have at Maldonado. And
Right.
that's where another place his value is. Guys, he's not going anywhere. People say, well, don't trade Maldi. He's not going anywhere. Maldonado, I bet you, plays his career out here, becomes some sort of a pitching coach or bullpen coach or something when he's done playing. He's that smart. He knows what he's doing. And yes, I mean, he's played 10 total games in outfield. I get that. But if you have a left fielder and Michael Brantley that's out and you don't want to play Yordan Alvarez, you're going to put him out in left field in that short porch in home games. You're going to put him out there whenever maybe Valdez isn't up there, but maybe Odorizzi, or Valdez, or someone like Christian Javier, someone who can induce maybe some soft contact.
Yeah.
But I like your conspiracy theory because it fits what the Astros are used to doing the past several years.
Yeah, and so Screwed Up Sports has him with 51 starts as catcher this year, 29 starts as DH as a Cub. So
yeah, and so between catcher, left field, and DH, and if you want to put him at first, I have a little problem putting him in a position he's never played before. First base is not an easy position to man for your first time. So I think it's left field, catcher, DH for him if he comes here. The question becomes, what do the Cubs want? Or do we get?
yeah, at what 12:24 at night. I don't know if we can bet on making the right trade prediction. So let's talk about Bet Online right now.
So before we do that, I want to tell y'all that Locked On Astros, we want to thank you for making us your first listen every day. The MLB trade deadline is August 2nd. Locked On MLB has all the breakdowns. So Locked On Astros, Locked On MLB will have rapid reactions to any move made. Subscribe now to your favorite Locked On Astros YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts and get notified when those episodes premiere. And if you're betting on the trade deadline and you want to know like who's going where or what uniform will Shohei Ohtani be wearing, or who's going to win the MVP award? Is it going to be Jordan? Is it going to be Aaron Judge? Who's going to win the Cy Young? Is it McClanahan or is it Verlander? Go to betonline.net. Find reviews, news for every league, Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, even golf. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to learn about the trends in action happening today. Remember, bet online. It's where the game starts.
Alrighty, so yeah, guys, Maldonado's not going anywhere. This is not going to be a Miles Straw type of trade. They're not going to trade
Who
Martin.
did
Yeah, I don't
someone
know.
else
I
mention
just see
Maldonado?
somebody. Yeah, I just see some people saying Maldonado's not going anywhere. So I don't think anyone's saying he's going anywhere. And I think the fact that what I'm suggesting is the fact that the Astros are a little bit weak in center field and technically left field until Michael Brantley comes back. This is a way to kind of touch on both. Martin Maldonado has been hitting a lot better in July, but this will be another way because Corey Lee is probably not ready. He may be ready next year, but he probably needs some more experience down in AAA. And Jason Castro, who knows when he's coming back. Michael Brantley, we have not heard anything about when he's coming back. So this would be just a way to add another bat to the lineup because we have Jake Myers. He has not done much. You have Martin Maldonado outside of July. He has not been a consistent bat. And then you have Chas McCormick. He's been hitting a little bit more recently, but he has not been consistent
Well,
bat. And then you have Yuli Gurriel, who's really down at the bottom of baseball with
Yuli
first base.
Gurriel is struggling. We've got to get a first baseman in there. I mean, that's just bottom line. Yuli's not going anywhere, but you got to get someone to help him out. Ian Happ is a center field option for the Cubs as well. I doubt that you would get both Happ and Contreras. There's
No,
also
yeah.
right. There's also Drury and Castillo, but I think the Yankees or the Dodgers are going to be going after Castillo. I don't know what kind of price he's going to demand. Yes, Corey Lee does need more development, but you don't have any other options right now. So he's baptized by fire, and that's just the situation you're in. That's why I think Contreras may be all the more important now because going into the playoffs, maybe you need a Contreras Maldi. Maybe you have Lee there as a third catching option. Maybe you have him as a late throw him out option. I'm just saying you're not going to
No.
what?
I don't.
Okay.
Would the Astros trade Corey Lee for Contreras straight up? I don't.
Okay. Eric,
No, this is not me. This is not me.
I know.
Don't
I'm
yell
right
at
in the
me.
middle of the point. That is ridiculous. Are you serious? Lee for Contreras straight up? No, come on, guys. This is not Facebook. Come on. No. Let's if we're gonna meander about trade about real trade talks, let's talk about real deals that could happen. Lee is not Contreras. Lee is a rookie. He would be a trade piece, okay? But you're
Right.
not going to trade Corey Lee if you're getting a rental for catcher. You're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to bring up Yonder Diaz, and you're not going to bring him up this year. I don't
Right.
see Diaz touching Minute Maid Park Field at all in 2022. The bottom
Hey,
line is this: none of us.
Giancarlo Stanton went on IL today, so the Yankees are
Well,
missing Big
yeah,
Bat.
oh yeah. Yankees are missing a big bat, but here's the thing: all the bad teams today, and this is kind of something that we probably should have led with. All the bad teams yesterday and today are struggling again, or are actually getting one over on the good teams. The bad teams are winning baseball games. It's baseball. It's a long season. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. So to get upset about two losses to the Oakland Athletics is kind of pointless. At the end of the day, the Astros have their work cut out I'm going to make the right decision. I trust that no matter what direction this club goes in, that it's going to be in the championship direction. Um, do we get fly under the radar picks, kind of like the Braves did last year with their four guys that absolutely contributed in mass towards the end of the season? I don't know. But there are things up this guy's sleeve that he's going to pull out. And if he talks about he's engaging in big talks or talking to a big bat, they're absolutely getting into the nitty gritty. And it's going to take a while. It may take up until August 2nd. Some people are saying something will break by Sunday. I don't know. I think if he's talking about the complicated system of more teams in the playoffs, Eric, I think this goes all the way possibly to August 1st or 2nd.
Yeah, and I really see we may not see three blockbusters, but I see the Astros making three trades. They get a like either first baseman or outfielder. They get a catcher. It may not be Contreras, but they get a backup catcher. and they possibly get a left-hander, because Dusty Baker loves them left-handed pitchers, even though the Astros are pretty good. The bullpen is pretty good against left-handed hitters this season. So something that we did not talk about yesterday is that the Astros have signed their first round pick. The first round pick.
Yes.
So that's good. And they also signed their second round pick. So I hate not having two screens. This sucks.
That's okay. So they signed Melton, who was their second round pick, and they signed Gilbert, who was their first round pick.
Right.
And they signed these two. This kid Gilbert is a Spitfire. He's gonna be the spark plug in the clubhouse. He probably will be here sooner rather than later. He's not going to spend much time in the minor leagues. I think they're going to try to fast track him. And I think as long as his skills play and as long as he does what he's drafted to do, that you see him in Melton as a very big part of the Astros' future. Melton's a big outfielder.
Right.
Got a huge upside.
And Gilbert said, "I'm definitely fired up at this point. I'm just ready to play. I know I've said it that 1,000 times. The Astros are a great organization with a great history. I couldn't be more excited." Where is he from, though?
He's from Tennessee.
Okay, I wonder if they're Yankees fans. I'm just curious.
No. He's no. So this kid's from the University of Tennessee. The Tennessee Volunteers hit the most home runs this year in the SEC. He actually has a charity called Bat Flips for Charity. He's known for his bat flip. His nickname is Bat Flip. I mean, he is a fiery spark plug kid, but he absolutely changed the culture at Tennessee. The Tennessee coach spoke about it during the draft. He changed the culture of that clubhouse, and we need a player like that. We lost that in Springer. We lost that in Correa. I think a kid like this can come in and take that mantle.
Something that we did not get a chance to address in last night's show. I just want to touch on it real quick. The MLB Players Association did decline the international draft, meaning by yesterday's deadline, meaning that the qualifying offer is still in place, the system for next year. So let's say if a free agent goes from a team, you'll still have the pick associated if they sign with another team. So that's something that is a big deal. But this was something that I think the Players Association was against, and there's just so many different. I know some people were for it, some people were against it, but I think it's just better overall. And the good thing also about the first and second round picks, they signed for a little bit under slot value, and the Astros may be able to use that to sign Ryan Clifford to sign him for maybe above slot value for maybe over 1 million or something. So we'll see what happens there. So they haven't done that yet, but the Astros they know what they're doing and everything there. So I'm excited about what's coming at the trade deadline, and this could be an active one. So any closing thoughts?
I mean, I say we sit back. I say we not hang on every single hour. Don't hang on every single tweet. If someone that is not verified, that's not a big news person, says they know something, they probably don't, because I'm pretty sure the right people get the news. And there are some big names that get information, that put stuff out there to run interference for these big agents. So don't think that these agents don't have some of these media personalities working in their corner to drive up the price for their player. So take everything you hear with a grain of salt. Don't think that, oh, well, this random guy that has 35 followers on Twitter says that he knows somebody in the Astros organization, or he knows somebody in the Cubs organization, or he went to high school with the trainer and he overheard them talking. All that stuff's typically hogwash. So just proceed with caution and know that you have to trust what James Click is going to do. I promise you he'll make the right moves.
And James Click, his front office has been known to be a very, very hush-hush front office. So what we're hearing about is possibly from other teams trying to maybe I don't know, just raise up the price or whatever. So that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully talking about getting one game from the Oakland Athletics. My name is Eric. He is H-Town Wheelhouse, Brett Chancey. We are the Locked On Astros podcast, and we will be back to you tomorrow. Go Stros, and let's have an exciting trade deadline.